Hello everyone, the Overplayer back, and today I'm going to be giving you guys a tutorial on the best way to get the Weapon Grandmaster calling card. I think this is necessary, and while it might not help too many people, for those of you that are going for it, I'm hoping it will really shrink the process and make it a lot faster, as there are a lot of tips and tricks as someone who's finished it that I could have used earlier on. Just knowing it going into this, as it can take a really long time, and you want to minimize the process as much as you can. So without further ado, let's get right into it, starting with this website. For those of you who don't know, this is the Damascus tracking website. You can see at the very top, I can go to camouflages and you can see that I have Damascus for everything, gold as well. This is necessary. You will need this on every single gun, DLC included, and there is no exception. Unless you really want to go for a bunch of extra work that will probably add maybe 10 hours onto your total time at least, I would suggest getting everything gold. It's not a question, just get it over with now if you plan on doing this. If that's too much effort, don't go for this challenge. But back to master challenges. So you'll notice that as I scroll down through, I don't actually have everything finished. This website isn't going to be what you want to use to track your total progress towards the 306 challenges. It's good for knowing what you do have done and what you don't have done, like what guns you have this for. Like I used it when I was doing my shotgun, so I knew, hey, I have the model 680, everything I want for that I've got done. And you can just, it's like adding little check marks, and it's just a nice progress tracker. Now, for tracking exactly what we have done and what we want to get done, we are going to use something slightly different, which is a Word document. Now, this is something you're going to have to make yourself, and it doesn't have to look exactly like this, but this is roughly what I have mine looking like. So, you have all the guns that you want. You will have at least something in all of them because you need to do every single emblem, but I'll get to that in a second. But this is the format I did, where I have amount of kill calling cards, amount of headshot calling cards for the second 0, and then amount of emblems in that. These are only for the category, and then I'll have the total amount on the right hand side. So like for example, if I was reading this, it'd go for ARs, 0 headshots done, it goes 0 kills, 0 headshots, and 0 emblems out of 9 kills, 9 headshots, and 36 emblems. And then obviously these numbers aren't going to add up, but if you want to do a little more specifics, you can. But I would really recommend constructing a document like this, as you want to keep track of exactly what you need to do. You will need to have at least emblems done for everything, so you're going to want to have something for each category, and you might want to do like a couple of bits here and there, so keep track of them as need be. You will also have the 240 emblems total. You will need to do all of them. This is going to be by far the easiest thing to do. No matter how annoying you think an emblem is, a calling card is 7 times worse, let me tell you. So make sure you're doing all 240 of these, and then you'll have to do 66 calling cards. I liked tracking these separately as well, so I just knew how far through them I was. And then I just had the total down here just for completionist sake. Alright. Now that we've gone through and talked about just how you'd want to track these, let's talk about actually what you're going to want to do. What guns are you going to want to focus on? What guns do you want to leave to the side, etc. So I'm going to go back to this tracking site. And first of all, I'm going to recommend that you do everything for the assault rifles and submachine guns. These are going to be by far the easiest to use on shipment, which is where you're going to be spending pretty much all of your time. There are going to be some challenges that require you to go to shoot house or something like that, but I would really recommend just going to shipment and backing in and out of lobbies. So you're going to see that for every single one of these, I have the 2,500 kills and the 1,000 headshots, and I have the same thing for all the submachine guns, and I pretty much have it for nothing else. These are pretty much the only things that I would say you are absolutely required to do. And while you technically aren't required to, these are going to be by far the easiest because they can all be kitted to be, especially with some machine guns, they're all going to be pretty meta within shipment. Like, you're not going to have too much of a hard time using them. In terms of other things, you're going to obviously be doing all the emblems. You can see I have all the emblems for everything. In terms of the melees, handguns, and launchers, these are something I would actually recommend taking a look at. I did the Strela P just because I wanted to. But I would recommend doing the double kills for the Strela and the RPG. Maybe the Pila too. You don't have to, but especially for the RPG, you only have to get 400 double kills. And these double kills are not terribly difficult, especially if you're on hardcore, because you can just kind of switch and then launch over and over again. You can carry a munitions box. It's gonna get annoying, but it's definitely not too bad, especially since you can easily get like up to 10 in a game. And I know you're going to be doing the math in your head and saying, well, that's 40 games for one challenge. And trust me, when you're doing 50 of them at least for the headshot challenges, it's going to seem like child's play. For handguns, you can go for headshots if you want. I didn't find them to be particularly hard, but I just hated going for headshots, especially since I'm not great with them. So I only went for the kill challenges and then obviously the emblem ones. I chose the X16, the 1911, the Psychop, and the Manetti. The X16 and 1911 are easily the best. They're really fun to use. The 1911 especially had really easy one-shots. The Renetti was really weak and was very annoying to use. The X16's fire rate made up for that. Psychop wasn't bad, but the fire rate was a little slow. But those are definitely usable. The 1911 especially, I think I ended up getting over 300 or 400 headshots without even trying. So if I wanted to, I could have gone for them on this. But instead, I opted to go for these melee challenges. Now, some of you will not want to do this riot shield. People will often have mercy on you, though. So you can easily get, like, I think I did have a game or two where I would get, like, 25 2 kill streaks just in one game, because people would, like, see me and go, oh, he's going for gold, even though I was going for this. And they would just, I'd sit in a crate and I'd just start meleeing all of them. People will usually be really nice about this sort of thing. So if you want to try to do that, that's definitely possible, and it's definitely an achievement if you want to go for it. If you don't want to do it, that's fine. You could always do some more launcher challenges or some more handgun challenges. The snake shot I found to be not good, and the M19's always going to take 2 shots, which can be annoying. But if you really wanted to, you could do the kills for it. However, the combat knife, kali sticks, and dual kadachis were all not too hard to get. The double kills were all super easy. I highly recommend going for those, because you're going to be getting some of these anyways while you're doing the emblems. And so you'll already be, I'd say, at least halfway or 3/4 of the way to these kills. It's still not going to be fun for them. It's really annoying running into fire shotguns and getting one shot at every time, even though you're in core. It's just something you got to deal with. But I'd say it's worth it. In terms of marksman rifles and sniper rifles, I would stay away from these unless you have a specific want. I know some people really like quickscoping. If you do really like quickscoping and you really want to go for the kill challenge or the headshot challenge, go for it. It's something to brag about earlier on, and you'll probably ease your life later on if with another gun you may hate more. But I didn't like them. Now, after you do, I would say, the melees, I'd say definitely do. Handguns you want to do a bit of. Launchers you want to do a bit of. But now we're going to get into the 2 kind of iffy categories, which are the shotguns and light machine guns. So the light machine gun problem is that going for headshots means you have to spend so much time waiting to aim down sight that you're going to lose a lot of gunfights in hardcore. And in core, you can do it, but you're going to get way less kills. So I recommend only going for the kill challenges on light machine guns and only doing the ones that you can really speed up. These would be the Bruin, the M91, and maybe the MG34, maybe the Holger. But the M91 and the Bruin both had decent damage, and they also could be kitted to be extremely fast. The PKM I did just because it was easy to do. If you wanted to camp, you could do some of these other guns, and if you don't mind the slowness of them, then you can go for it. But if you were like me and you liked running around more, you could go for the shotgun challenges. I did these top 5, the Model 680, R90, 75, Origin, and VLK Rogue. If I had to go back and do them again, I would probably go for the MG34 and SA87 over the Model 680 and VLK Rogue. The Rogue got hit markers, I would say, 80 to 90% of the time. It was really annoying. You're also going to want to use Dragon's Breath for all of these, by the way, whether in core or hardcore. I did these in core, and I'll get into that in a little bit, but it was really annoying doing these. The 725 and R90, along with the Origin 12, these 3 middle ones were really easy to do for the kill challenges, so I'd recommend doing that. But should you not want to, you can replace it with light machine gun stuff and vice versa. These are very interchangeable, and I'd recommend doing with what goes with your playstyle best. Alright, now that I've gone over what guns you want to do, let's talk about how exactly you're going to want to maximize your time efficiency. If you shoot the ship, here's what you're going to want to do. You're going to notice that in quick play, that we have hardcore, shoot house, and shipment. This is going to be very typical. You're going to want to usually switch. You're going to want to have 2 loadouts, 1 gun for hardcore and 1 gun for core. So I'm going to be going into quick play here. I'm just going to pretend that I'm looking for a game. Should I get shipment, I will be choosing my hardcore class and running with that. Now let's say, for example, it gave me shoot house here. Most likely it will, but I'm going to pretend that it does, even though I'm not going to see it. If I get that, I'm going to want to back out, and then I'd go to this other shoot the ship playlist. I realize it doesn't say that, just roll with me. Then I would check this one, and then if I got into the shoot house game, and if I got into a shipment game here, then I'd go to my core gun. You're going to always want to have a gun for core and a gun for hardcore at all times. That way you can maximize the time you're in a game. And if you ever get something like shipment extended, then you're going to want to just play this constantly. You will roughly half your effectiveness if you try to do the hardcore playlist for shoot house and shipment. If you get something like this, then only do that. This means you can just play over and over and over again. Otherwise, you back out of lobbies, and backing out of lobbies is usually going to be half of your time when you're spent doing this if you don't have a permanent shipment playlist. I really highly recommend taking advantage of these while they're up. You're also going to want something to do while you're waiting for lobbies. If you get 2 shoot house lobbies, you're just going to have to keep backing out and then checking them and backing out and then checking them. It's really annoying, and it takes a while to change. But I would say maybe have something on YouTube pulled up that you can just play for a couple minutes while you wait for the lobbies to boot up. Maybe have, like, for me, I have a little Rubik's Cube that I like to just mess around with. Maybe text some people on your phone from time to time, something like that. And while you're playing, I recommend getting some podcasts ready or having some music. I usually chose to listen to music. I would sometimes find some YouTube videos that were really good, but they wouldn't always last me the longest because YouTube videos are cut down a lot. But yeah, that's going to be roughly it. In terms of how long this will take you, as in, like days and stuff like that, the total challenge took me 423 hours over 5 months. However, I think a month of that was pure shipment. However, there were many weeks where I would not get shipment at all. I would say as of now, it took me about a month to do maybe like 30 challenges? About 30 challenges it took me a month to do that weren't emblem challenges. Oh no, there were emblem challenges, but the majority of your challenges are going to be emblem, which can be done on all maps, which is nice. But I would say this is going to take you around 3 to 4 months, depending on how much time you have. If you're willing to put in 8 to 10 hours a day, this goes way faster. You're going to want to set a pace for yourself. For me, I would usually do 333 headshots a day, which meant that I was completing... I would get the kill challenge along with that because that would just happen. It meant that I was doing at least 2 challenges every 3 days, which was a pretty good pace to keep as I was going through this. But you might have work, you might have other things to do. You may have a better stamina than me when doing this, and you might be able to get maybe 500 headshots a day, in which case you'd be doing 1 challenge a day. which is a really good pace to keep. Or you might be slower than me, and you might be only able to get, you know, like 250 headshots a day. It's up to you. Just know that this will take roughly 3 to 4 months, I would say. If you're really fast about it, you can probably do it in 2, but it's not going to be fun if you try to do it in 2. And as a final note, there are 2 unreleased guns right now, which are the CX-9 and the Raw LMG. The CX-9 you should just complete if it comes out no matter what, and you should add those 4 emblems on, and if you get the Raw LMG, just do the 4 emblems. Depending on how good it is, you might not want to do the kill challenge, or whatever it is for it. Now, if you're wondering what you should axe off, I would say do not do the launcher and melee challenges. Those are by far what took the longest and were the most annoying to do. But if there's other stuff you want to axe off for those 8 challenges, because you're going to have 8 emblem challenges when both of those release, then do that. Alright, that's going to be about it. I'm sorry that this is a bit of a longer video, but there's just a lot to talk about because there's a lot to do with this. There's a lot of nuance with it. But I wanted to bring everything that I possibly could, and this is not going to be edited down too much just because I want to make sure that I give you guys all the information. And while it's a lot, you can watch this video and take it as you will. Alright, hope you all enjoyed, and I really hope this helps you all out. Good luck with your challenge hunting. See you next time.